Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I am your host, Ben Slinger, and with me as always is that other host over there, Trevor Scott.
Hello.
And
we're not in the same room, though.
No, we're not actually in the same room. When I say over there, I meant, a few kilometres that way down the road. So today, we don't have any guests. It's just us. So we're just going to fucking riff on some Click Pitch and have fun. Click Pitch is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we will get a new word. It's a word we've never seen before, obviously. That's what random means. And based on that, we come up with a game, an idea for a game. And it's always fun, no matter how it comes out. So let's do it.
3, 2, 1, click. Noisiness
Synonym. So do we just come up with a synonym for noisiness and use that as the prompt?
Yeah, why not?
Clatter,
loudness,
clanging, banger clang, bangerang. It's a hook game.
God.
Get Rufio in. Rufio. All right, noisiness synonym. So you're a kid trying to do your English homework while your younger siblings are in the next room, banging on pots and pans, having a food fight, yelling Rufio, and you have to stop them, throw them out a window.
No, I'm thinking you're the siblings and your brother is doing his homework, and so therefore you get to make the noises.
Okay, so what's the challenge then? Are you trying to disturb your brother or trying to not disturb your brother?
I think you're trying to disturb him. I mean, that's part of the fun, isn't it? It's like how quickly you can actually annoy your brother.
How quickly you can do it. Okay, so you've sort of got an open, well, not kind of an open world, an open house of implements that could possibly be used to make noise, and you have to figure out the most effective way to do so in the shortest amount of time.
Mm-hmm. But in some of the other levels, there's a bit of randomness to it, so maybe he's got his headphones on. So you've got to work out a way of...
Okay. So are you maybe to add a bit of challenge to it, are you like a toddler? So you have to actually climb your way up to things to find new things to make noise with?
That could be cool.
Yeah. And I mean, as part of that, you could be making noise. I'm picturing the opening cartoon in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where Baby Herman is like,
yep,
climbing things and just like kicking the drawers out as he climbs up the drawers to try to chase the whatever it is, the butterfly or something. Yeah, so you're just like clattering forks and things on the ground as you climb up to reach the really noisy pots and pans, the really resonant ones.
So I'm really starting to think this may go a little bit unusual if our toddler is trying to, somehow turn off all the power so the lights go off, so that's really annoyed your brother. So it doesn't necessarily have to just be noisy, but it can also be, oh, look, we no longer have any power because the fuse blew because, I don't know, maybe the toddler stuck a fork in the in the electricity socket.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like that might almost be too easy. Like, I mean, I guess it depends on the level design and stuff, but, you could just spill something on his books or whatever. Like, I feel like it needs to be a bit more of a, not quite as drastic as that. If you actually do something too over the top, your mum comes in and spanks you or something. Not that I condone spanking children, but, for the sake of a cartoonish sort of video game.
No, it just picks you up and moves you into like a cot or something.
Well, that's it. Like, you get a timeout. Maybe it can be multiplayer. Maybe he's got multiple siblings. Maybe it's twins, which I have experience with. Or maybe
an older, and an older toddler as well. So you got
maybe as you come in as
the teenager,
you come in as a squad
and 3 toddlers.
Yeah, you come in as a squad and you just get randomly assigned ages, and so you got different skills based on how old you are. So you can reach higher things, but maybe you'll get harsher punishment if you're older. So you have to be more careful. So you have to sort of, you have to come up with strategies around using your younger siblings to do the noisier things, but they don't have the dexterity, right? So, you know.
Mm-hmm. So I'd say the older of the toddlers, they'd be like your scout that can like walk into the room and open up the door and say, "What you doing?" And
they're the ones who have the best chance of navigating the baby-proof locks on the kitchen cabinets. Get a little mini game. I love the idea of an unlocking mini game, except it's trying to get one of those fucking baby-proof things off.
So it's kind of like Skyrim, you know, where you
it's like,
you got to move.
No, you got to squeeze
the
in and then pull.
turn. And...
Yeah, squeeze in and then pull. Like you got to reach in and tuck the little the little clip down.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And obviously you got lots of different versions of them. I'm thinking that it can just be these quick, like 5-minute round sort of things.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't take much to piss off a teenager. So yeah, is there going to be like a little noise level or an annoyance level meter on the side or something, or both?
Yeah, I think so.
Like them, and the more you can keep the noise levels high, the faster the annoyance meter rises.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that what could actually help with this is, you know, it's a randomized sort of level, so randomized house that has sometimes there's an amplifier plugged in downstairs and sometimes there's not, and other times, you know, the target is wearing headphones, other times he's using a computer, other times he's, you know, at the kitchen table. And
yeah. Maybe I was thinking of it more as a kind of like an I Am Bread situation where and that the main comparison there is just that it's set in a house as well, really. But in that you've got these specific levels where there's just sort of a ton of stuff lying around, and it's kind of a matter of finding the best line through that level to make the most noise as fast as possible. But that they're a bit more handcrafted, so you can really they can be laid out with certain strategies in mind that are possible.
I kind of like the idea of once you've sort of use something too much, that like something in the system basically goes, yeah, you can't use that anymore. You got to find a more novel way of going. So
yeah, well, maybe they're like breakable objects. Maybe they just like you can only use them a certain amount of times before they just disintegrate in your hands. It's a common game trope.
or they get confiscated by the mum.
Yeah, you use that too much and you just see her striding over and snatches it out of your hands.
She takes the power cord away from the vacuum cleaner or something like that.
That's kind of fun.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Let's do another.
Click again. 3, 2, 1. Click.
South
semi-final.
Okay.
So it's an actual good AFL game.
Topical.
I don't think that's actually possible to do a good AFL game.
I don't know. I think if there's more than one developer attempting it, then maybe somebody could do something. But there's just, I don't know. AFL. I don't know AFL at all. South. So I mean, South what? I guess. South Pole. Some sort of really winter games.
So
penguins.
You got penguins and
like polar bears and stuff, or are they the other? I don't know.
They're playing AFL.
Penguins playing AFL. You know what we need? Do you remember Caveman Uglympics?
Oh God, yes.
I feel like we need another game like that.
You just took me on a journey right then. Like,
see that little 3-second pause that was there? Trevor just went on a time-traveling journey. Took him back to his childhood. Yeah, Caveman Uglympics. We need a game that's just all these stupid mini games where you have to hammer the keys as much as you can, but it's set in the South Pole, and you've got you've got penguins and shit.
Seals. What else could you have?
Oh yeah, I thought so. I just looked it up. There's no animals at the South Pole. They're all at the North Pole. Well, not directly at the South Pole, I guess, is the issue.
Yeah, good enough. We'll just...
No, I guess there must be some down there, but
I mean,
not directly at the South
down
Pole.
There.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was looking at the South Pole itself, like the very, very South Pole. So no, okay. It's just Antarctica. There are animals there. This is just showing off all the things I learned in school and then forgot completely. We have penguins and we have seals and things. Yeah, what sort of games? What sort of games do they have? Like something like things like ice,
fishing.
Yeah, okay. You could do like fishing. You have to deal with like
ice slides,
orcas and things. Or maybe you just get a bonus if you're an orca. You can literally just dive in and catch bunches of fish. Yeah, like
kind of just they're kind of like the cheat code that you can put in and you automatically win the fishing game.
Yeah, or maybe they're just a hazard. Like occasionally, as you're fishing, you'll see an orca coming, and you have to like pull your line back in before they just come and take all the fish that before they destroy your line.
So you played Super Mario 64, right?
Yes.
You know how you got that level where you got to take the penguin down the ice slide and go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so instead it's like this massive field, and there's like, here's the start point at the top of this hill. There's the bottom point. There's the finish point all the way down the bottom, and it's just a race to get down there as fast as possible.
So it's kind of like, what's that recent game that came out? The
Steep.
Steep, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. So it's Steep, but with penguins and seals and shit.
And if you enter the cheat code, an orca, comes down.
Yeah, that's just the cheat code on all of them, even if they're not in the water or near the water. You just basically spawn an orca in the middle of the level and just kill shit.
Yep.
Thrashes about.
It's so heavy, down the ice slide, it'd be getting, faster acceleration down the hill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're pretty slick.
Well, maybe slower acceleration, but faster.
Like top speed.
Faster top speed.
Higher terminal velocity.
Anything else that you can think of? Any other games?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you could do like you have to. Well, maybe because this could be similar. Maybe it could be set in the sort of the same level. But instead of yourself sliding down and having some control, you have to start like a snowball or an ice ball. That you just then have to push in a certain direction and at a certain, like with a certain amount of power. And you just watch it go down the hill, gathering snow and getting bigger and bigger. And, it's whoever makes it the furthest before it smashes into something. And I don't know. Yeah.
I like that. One of the interlude games could be like a snowball fight.
Yes.
Just between penguins and
what was there? There was a game that had snowball fight in it. Oh, shit.
Another old DOS game.
Yeah, it was another old DOS game. It was something similar to this. And I feel like it was one of those ones that I like pirated and that level barely ever worked. You had to do something special to get that level to work, or it only worked in some versions of it or something, and so I never got to play it.
I'm seeing it as like one of those like skate or die sort of things.
Yeah. Oh, mate, yeah.
Or ski or die.
It was some sort of it was some sort of thing where it was like a mini game or something in between. Yeah.
Ski or die snowball blast.
Was that it? I don't know.
Yep. It's one of the parts in there that you could like have like snowball fights.
Yes. You're like, I'm just looking at a screenshot of it now. This is way off topic for our game, but that was it. You're like in this little igloo, like ice brick sort of base, and you have to aim your snowballs at the other kids, the other people. That was it. This is a day.
Welcome to my ski shop. I'm Rodney.
Yeah, I remember that.
His eyes are totally like bugged out of his head.
He's on a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Oh man, today's the day for like nostalgic old DOS games.
Awesome. Well, I think we should click again.
Yes, I think so.
3, 2, 1, click.
Emptying.
Counterattack. So what are you emptying?
Yeah, so some sort of resource that you need to carry around. Maybe like some sort of gel. Maybe it's some sort of game where you have to collect this gel because it powers your base. I'm thinking sort of a squad-based multiplayer or something. But if someone starts attacking you, like one of your moves, this gel is also super slippery. And so you can, as a counterattack, drop this gel on the ground, empty out your reserves of the gel, and use it up. But then, of course, you've risked not being able to power your base.
Yep. So it's risk versus reward.
Yeah, risk versus reward on... Yeah, basically this thing is both the resource powering your base and, a potential weapon.
Powering your weapons.
And a potential weapon. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so picture this. Those classic capture the flag style setups where you got two bases and normally you're running into each other's base. Well, in this, there's just a centralized area, like a massively open area that can have maybe a few different deposits of this gel.
Is it naturally occurring? They're like gel springs.
Naturally occurring, but it's kind of like, a red versus blue of they all come in, they're trying to get the gel.
Yep.
But the ones closest to their sort of base are like the really, really small deposits of this gel.
Yeah.
But the ones in the center where you've got to like travel a little bit further and get closer to the other team, they're where the really rich gel deposits are.
Oh,
so you can actually
no, I like that. And let's keep going down that. But instead of just sort of being just a first person shooter sort of thing where we have this added thing of the gel, I feel like there hasn't been a multiplayer game with some of the kind of building aspects of something like Minecraft or like Factorio, or where you have to put different components together, conveyor belts and pipes and things to come to some, like to solve a puzzle or to come to some conclusion. So what I'm thinking is that you literally have to build a way to mine this gel from these deposits, and obviously the closer ones, it's almost like, I guess it's almost a real-time strategy sort of thing, but you're having to place these things in the right place to be the most, like, to get it out the most efficiently. But of course the other guys can come and destroy your stuff.
Yep.
So you have to be protecting it at the same time. And, if you want to be really risky, like, you might be able to quite easily set up a fairly efficient flow of the gel back to your base through pipes and conveyors. It pulls up the ore on the conveyor and then runs through the machine that like breaks it up so that all the gel, goes through the grate underneath and puts it into a pump that pumps it through the pipe back to your base or something, these sorts of components and stuff. And maybe it comes in different forms even, like, so yeah, sometimes it is sort of embedded in an ore that you have to break up. Sometimes it's a naturally occurring spring where you have to build some sort of way to capture it, catch it, and pump it out.
Oh yeah, the harder stuff in the rock form, maybe you got to actually heat that up to actually make it gelatinous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and you could have just different color gels, determining
different properties and things,
different properties and different things that they can actually create.
They could be more valuable, or they can it could even be for different types of weapons. So the end game is to destroy the other person's base, I guess. So it almost is a real-time strategy, but I'm thinking it's like first-person squad-based, where you're collaborating to build these systems, to get these different gels and get it back to your base. Or maybe you could even build out in the field, things that will use the gel to construct weapons and stuff. But of course, they're going to be less protected there, so it's a bit riskier. But it means you could create a sort of a forward base with some weapon stockpiles.
So how big is this central area? Is it like an absolutely massive area of like, maybe 5 kilometers by 5 kilometers?
No, I think
sort of
because
area?
I don't think you'd want huge teams. I think you'd want max teams of like 4 or 8. So I don't think it can be a huge area. And so I think it needs to be that it's pretty easy to defend, particularly in the early game.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, you can set up turrets and stuff that are fairly powerful. And the thing is, like, the other team's not going to have super powerful weapons yet to destroy your shit. So they could come and they can start sabotaging your stuff, but they can't do a whole lot of damage because they themselves haven't been able to mine enough of the good ore that's like, that you can create fucking like explosives from and stuff. And so it's about strategy. And so maybe you can have, the blue ore is really good for creating shields and stuff. But
the red ore is offensive sort of weaponry.
Yeah, or like red ore is like explosive sort of things. Green ore is maybe for like power, like it'll power things up better, or power weapons like laser weapons and things, or plasma weapons. And so, so there could be a real strategy over which one you focus on or which ones you focus on. So if you know that someone's going for like explosive, then maybe you want to go more for the blue orbs, and you can just like put these great big barriers up everywhere that protect your shit, so they can't like take out a whole section of your assembly line at once.
Yep. So it's almost like a scissors rock paper sort of scenario in which, you know, if say you started going for shielding, but they went for power, they can actually bypass the shields.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe the plasma weapons, or maybe that's the other way around. Maybe the shields are good against plasma weapons, but not good against explosives or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
explosives are good against the plasma weapons.
Is that how it would be?
Yes.
Wait,
had to be circular.
Yeah. So
you said that.
All right. So the shields block. All right. The shields block the. Well, I'm just trying to think what makes more sense for shields to block, like plasma weapons or explosives. Like, which direction do we go in? I guess. No, I think maybe the explosives are good against the shields. The plasma weapons, the shields are good against the plasma weapons, and the plasma weapons are good against the explosives. Yes.
Yep. The shields can deflect the plasma weapons back at.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But the plasma weapons also lets you build things like turrets, and that's good against the explosives just because, well, I mean, maybe certain turrets can even, you know, blow certain explosives out of the air because they're like slower projectiles. And also you might have to get closer to use the explosives. Like you have to actually plant, you know, a bomb on the side of something. And so if they've got good turret coverage, then it's going to be harder to get in there.
Okay. Yep. I'm just imagining now that, you know, you can make a rudimentary trebuchet or whatever. And just
trebuchet,
like,
yeah. That could be cool too. Yeah. I mean, and maybe it's that maybe you can sort of multitask in that you're obviously not going to just be mining one of them. And so certain things will take combinations of them as well then. So like maybe shields are also good for flinging things. So if you go with shield and explosive, then you can create some like trebuchet or catapult sort of weapons. But if the other side's still gone with green, like with plasma, then they might have a really good set of just anti-projectile turrets that are just going to, you know, limit the damage that something like that can do still. Yeah, I really like this. I feel like there's really cool things you could do with a multiplayer construction game like that.
I'm thinking early game, you know, you've got sort of like, maybe one person's selected as the commander and they can assign jobs to people. Like you've got a couple of people on security, you've got a couple of people on scouting, so they can go off and find.
I think that's more around just to do it well. You have to communicate with your team. Like it's like something like Overwatch or something, right? Like the team who does better is the team who is going to delegate those roles better and make sure that they've got good coverage for like scouting and building and security. Exactly, like people who are good shots, because this is still going to be a first-person shooter. Like one of the things you can build with all of these different with all these different gels are weapons. Yep. You know, if you're mining the green stuff, then you are going to have more sort of projectile style weapons, and maybe that means you get a really sweet sniper rifle or just like a blaster sort of thing. You know, the shielding one will give you things like a cloaking device or an actual like personal shield, so you can tank a bit more. And the explosive one will give you things obviously just like grenade launchers or rockets and stuff.
The only reason why I was saying that having a commander being able to assign these things is too often when I've played these games, like I usually don't like talking to random people that I've never met before. And so there's never any like coordination. Like everyone just goes, I'm going to be a sniper or I'm going to be the assault guy. And it's like no one will choose to be the engineer.
Yeah. Maybe you can assign classes in a sense. And also I'm thinking for like the building stuff, maybe everyone or maybe just certain classes can put down like plans of what should be built. You know, so you sort of get the ghostly version of, you know, build all the pipes along here so that we can build, you know, a weapon construction machine here, and put shields over here and whatever. And everyone else can go around and start getting the resources they need to build that stuff. But they might designate one person to sort of plan it all out and say what needs to be built.
I really think there needs to be quite a bit of area, though, that you got to send out people to scout, because if it's the same map every time...
No. It'll need to be a fair bit of area.
So what, like maybe 500 meters by 500 meters? that's not too big, but it's also big enough for you to
even a bit
actually...
more than that, even like a kilometre by a kilometre, because I feel like you're going to need you can spread out a fair bit with these machines and these assembly lines and stuff. And yeah, you've got a few different deposits around the map, so it could be that on a particular map, everyone knows that the red, or the really the red deposit that's really rich is closer to the center, so they rush out there to like put down their turrets or whatever, or just to build their pipes up there as quickly as possible to like suck as much of it out before the other person can build their machines up there to start getting it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and maybe you can do things like, you can go and build your machines to start, digging up the ore and breaking it down, but you can also just go out there with a fucking pickaxe or their first set of explosive that you managed to do. You can just throw them in there and loosen up all the ore so you can start just like squirreling it away back to your base. Like you can have strategies around, you're probably going to lose a lot of it in that case, but it might be better for you because you're going to get it sooner, right? Like you might get the edge on explosives because you managed to get even a portion of that rich vein early on. There's
I'm
so
thinking
much
that
cool
the
stuff
start
you can do there.
positions. The start positions are also randomized. Like, that they're going to be on the other side to where you are somewhere, but you may be down in, say, the lower right-hand corner. They may be in the lower left, or they
could be a bit like
towards the
those
center
old
somewhere.
RTS maps, right? And I mean, I guess they still make real-time strategies. I haven't played them in a long time. I am thinking back to fucking the old Command & Conquer and Warcraft 2 and stuff, but I kind of like the idea of, the placements are randomized, and also if the gel deposits themselves aren't completely randomized, then at least the types of gels that are in each deposit are. So you might know that there's on this map there's always a large deposit right in the middle, but you don't know what type it's going to be. So you still have to send people out to scout it out and get the lay of the land, so you can kind of strategize on which direction you're going to go in.
Maybe we should think about procedural generation. Then literally, there's no such thing as a map. It's like every time that you come in, it's procedurally generated, and where the start positions and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I like this. This is I think this is the first game we've managed to go this deep on and come up with actual cool mechanics on to this degree. If I actually fucking played multiplayer games anymore, I'd play the shit out of this. That's really cool.
I've been playing a lot of Wildlands, so I've got that whole
the big maps and
massive area sort of thing going on, and then I've been watching a lot of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and
I think we probably
looks amazing.
Yeah. Did you watch the McElroys playing today?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we watched the same thing.
I didn't watch that today. I watched that 2 days ago or so.
Right. Yeah,
it was on the weekend.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. Well, then that's the sort of thing that I'm thinking of, where it's this first person thing, and but you're doing these great assembly lines and stuff to build up all your resources. Yeah, that's fun. I think that'd be cool.
Cool. Okay, 3, 2, 1, click.
3, 2, 1, click.
Fondness.
Triple fondness.
Okay, so you got triplets, and you got to decide which one you're most fond of.
Whoa. No, that's against the parenting rules, I think.
I don't know. I've only got one kid. I'm very fond of him.
Yeah, well, I have 3.
Who's your favourite?
You're not going to trick me that easily. They might listen to this one day.
Okay, which one do you like the least?
Fuck off. Oh, man. Whoever's keeping me awake at that moment.
Okay. So there's a fondness meter.
Okay.
In this game.
Okay.
I think we could go back to the triplet meter. It's kind of like what you were...
Well, maybe it's not babies. Maybe it's like dogs or something. Cats.
Or aliens. Alien triplet.
Well, yeah, like some sort of...
And they get annoying, and, you can... It's kind of like... just trying to think of exactly what it's like.
One of those, pet games...
Yeah, pet games, except you're looking after three at the same time, and
they fight each other, and they shit acid, and puke jelly beans.
The idea for the game is that in this world, everyone's got to take an alien as a as like an adoptive exchange sort of student sort of thing.
Okay. Some deal that our government's made with an alien race that we made first contact
Yes.
with if they're overpopulated. So
And because not everyone gets along, it was decided a while ago that everyone gets 3,
all right.
and then they decide based on that, based on which one they like the most, that's one they get to keep.
And the other 3 get killed.
And
the other 2 get killed.
well, yeah.
That's what you find out at the end. It's really sad.
No, the one that you like eats the other 2.
Right. It becomes fully formed. Like that triggers their next phase. It's all part of their life cycle. So it's not evil or anything. It's just that like in their larval phase, they are 3 distinct beings, and then based on it's actually like it's an evolutionary trait. It's a survival of the fittest because they're 3 distinct beings with different personalities, and which
but we learnt early on
whichever personality is thriving, it devours the other 2 and becomes the primary being.
Yes,
That's cool. I like that.
And it's one of these things that, you immediately think, oh my god, this is so barbaric. But no, this is just the way this particular
species
particular species is actually,
evolved.
evolved into.
Yeah.
And so at the start of the game, you get this massive egg, and out come three aliens, and so you're having to try and do things to try and get a bond going with this alien.
Yeah, interestingly enough, when they come out of the egg, they're all attached by their tails. That's just normal until their tails drop off.
Yep, that'd actually add for some pretty cool mechanics.
Yeah, you can give it a yank. They can't run away from you too far.
Take him for a walk.
Wish my twins had tails.
I'm thinking, you could actually have an interesting sort of, not adventure game as such, but
no, it's almost
like a Sims sort of thing.
or like an Animal Crossing, almost like I guess that's more generally about building up your house and stuff, but it is sort of like one of those pet games in a way. They're almost like little Tamagotchis, but a lot more complex in the behaviors and in the different things you can do.
There's lots of little mini games that you can play, and depending on what type of mini game you've chosen, a different personality comes forward, and that you've got X amount of days to like get a real bond going with one of these, and you have to choose.
Yeah,
the bond
so I mean the mini games can all,
because it turns out that if you don't choose the right bond, then some pretty bad shit can actually happen.
Oh, okay. Oh, so there's a correct answer to this.
Well, I'm thinking, say your fondness meter said that you were really fond of personality A.
Yeah.
But personality B was actually the proper match for you. Then personality A would, cause
havoc.
I don't know, lots of fires and stuff in your house. And
so maybe it's that, like depending on how you treat each individual triplet in that first phase as well also affects, like it's not just that the one you choose in the end that you're most fond of becomes the only personality in that final being. It's an amalgam, like they're the dominant personality, but you could have unforeseen interactions with the other personalities if you haven't treated them right, or if you haven't made the right sort of connections with them.
Yep.
So, you've got, you tend to like more, withdrawn, introverted, intelligent beings. And that's who you'd like to have as a child in the next phase as your alien child. But that means you completely don't even interact with, the more aggressive, violent one. And basically, when they all merge, you end up with a really quiet serial killer because that aggressive tendency was not nurtured well enough and channeled in the right way. So it could be a really interesting metaphor for parenting, actually.
It could, couldn't it? You got to try and nurture these things, because if they get, if these personalities get too over the top, they could actually end up dominating the final personality. So you got to nurture it in the right way. Be active, because in these first, say, 40 days that you've got with these triplets before you got to choose, how they say with kids the formative years are like the first 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, for these aliens, if you want to have a well-behaved alien, the first 40 days are very important to make sure that
well, at this
all 3 of the personalities
this larval phase
engaged at all times.
It's a very specific thing. That this larval phase is how their sort of final personality is derived, And so once they go through that merging process where one of them devours the other, and it's very graphic, we're going to do some really good Foley work with
I'm just imagining,
meat and
I'm just imagining now. You have to actually, like, it says, you know, when you do finally choose a personality, you must sit there and watch.
Yeah, well, that's part of the bonding experience. Like you have to, if you're gonna, if the new amalgam being is gonna imprint on you, you have to be there, right? Like during the process. And it's really distressing because as much as this is part of their normal growing up, the other two just scream like they don't want to be eaten.
And they look at you with their puppy dog eyes.
Exactly. As
oh
the other one
God,
just like tears their limbs off.
Happen?
Yeah, it's great.
Let's click
yeah, okay.
I think
that came to a good sort of climax there.
3, 2, 1, click.
Axe.
Sensationalism.
All right. Axe. Sensationalism. How do you sensationalize an axe? Is it like the inanimate carbon rod on The Simpsons? Like you have to come up with ways to market this axe? I'm just wanted to meet the axe.
Scene.
Okay, I mean, how do you sensationalize an axe? Do you add extra blades? Do you, like, pimp out the handle?
Well, you know how with razors and stuff,
that's what I was thinking.
Keep on putting more blades. Well, as a lumberjack, because I'm thinking that we've got to go back to a lumberjack game at some stage.
It's an axe. Lumberjacks use axes. Who else uses axes? Nobody, right?
Axe murderers.
Yeah, well, that's the mini game. Or that's the end game, maybe.
Well, hang on. So, axe murderers, he goes, with that second or third extra blade, I could get a much closer shave right into that neck.
Yeah. Well, it's not just like two blades on there. It's like the one blade splits into multiple blades. It's like a bit of a fractal sort of thing going down, and just each blade does more of the cutting.
It literally looks like just a big version of like a razor, with the 5 blades.
Yeah.
How they're all sort of
just along the
on the same line. But
if you cut it this way, then you can cut deep. But if you cut it this other way, then you'll get nice bark shavings for when you just want to when you just want to give it like a slight grazing.
For when you want to ring bark that tree.
Yeah. So what's the fucking game here? Is it just coming? Is it literally like I'm picturing like a Spore style character creator, but all you can build is axes.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was thinking.
You can put blades on. You can put like decorative things on the handle. You can paint it different colors.
Axes are just the beginning. You can.
You can then branch out.
Branch out to any other sort of bladed instrument, and you can come up with these crazy wacky contraptions.
Right.
Like I'm just imagining coming up with like a pinwheel, except it's got 4 axes on it.
Oh, so it's all like physically accurate. So you can put joints in. You can put
gears.
Yeah.
You can
so I'm picturing almost like
motors.
You can join a bunch of handles together with like hinges, and it's almost like a big whip with a blade on the end. So you like swing it back and just swing it forward and just like straightens out and just that'd be really good for that guy who is afraid of trees.
I'm imagining 2 versions of the game now.
Okay.
So you've got like the typical mouse building, using the mouse to build these things, but to actually test them out properly, you've got the VR prototyping.
Okay. Yes. Nice.
So maybe what you could do is actually set up like a Steam workshop sort of thing.
Yeah.
For if you don't have the if you don't actually have VR,
yeah, then you just get to create.
You can put it out on the workshop, and
prototypes.
people can actually give you ratings based on how useful your machine was.
Okay.
And, you got a basic first person shooter sort of test thing that you can do just with like mouse and keyboard or a controller.
Yeah.
But the real test is, when people try to use it in the
VR simulator.
In the VR simulator.
You actually have to swing the thing and has to react the right way. be effective.
So I'm thinking that kind of like a media empire where your company, are trying to sell more products. And if people are actually receptive to your idea on Steam, then, those ratings that they've actually
money based on that.
You make money in your
Maybe
game.
Like procedurally.
Or if you don't want to do that, you can like have like the AI do its sort of tests.
Right. It just analyzes it itself. Well, I was going to say maybe like based on what you've created, it procedurally generates an infomercial to sell your new thing. Or maybe that's part of the VR. Like maybe it's that you build this thing and then the people in VR are testing it out, but part of the that gets recorded and then gets used in the infomercial that's then generated.
Nice.
You get these great shots of this guy like swinging the huge whip axe and cutting a watermelon in half from like 6 meters away.
I'm just imagining the recoil when you pull back. Oh
yeah,
and the axe
like comes flying towards you.
Your face.
You meant to say recoil then, but I think recalls are probably going to be a big part of this game as well.
I did say recoil. I said recoil first, and then I'm like, that's because I had something in my throat.
But I think that when that recoil does hit you, then there are going to be a lot of recalls on that product. You have to deal with that. That's all part of the game.
And the pinwheel, well, maybe you shouldn't have made the axe out of flimsy material so that you take one swing and it's like just splinters.
Well, I'm just thinking people are literally putting up as decorations, but then they're getting in trouble for all the birds that are getting killed because they're just like flying through these pinwheels of blades.
I'm just imagining windmills now, like massive windmills with like
axes,
blades.
Just axe blades. Just a world where everything that's the end goal. Like you're this company and all you have is all these fucking axe blades that you got cheap and a bunch of handles and things. And the end goal is just that everything in the world is made out of fucking axes. Like you just take over the world as a corporation and you've managed.
Hell, if you want, you can make axe cutlery.
Yeah, that's it.
So that you've
just got little axes. And little forks where each fork is just an axe blade. Each tine. Spoons like you're having to pick up to drink. to drink fucking soup. Using
with a concave axe.
Concave axe. Well, we said you had other blade types, so maybe it's like a sickle. You're just trying to balance it in the curve of the sickle and like drip it in to your mouth. Oh man.
I'm imagining what other things you could actually do, and then my mind went down the sex toy route, and I'm like, no.
Okay, that's it. Game done. Let's move on.
3, 2, 1, click.
Ooh.
What the fuck is that word? Click.
What was your word?
Diocese.
Diocese. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck that. Boar.
Boar, like BOAR.
Yes.
Cool. Fountain.
I don't know why that's funny.
No, I'm just picturing lots of little wild pigs spraying forth. No, maybe this could be cool. Maybe it's like a kind of a sculpting game of some sort, where you get to build those like ornate fountains with, water that sprays out of various pieces of them. Like cherubs.
But your character's a boar,
cherubs'
so
penises.
therefore you can only use